I was blind, but now I see. Some years ago, I was climbing in Colorado, the 14ers. I'm sure you've heard me tell the stories about the 14ers. The 14ers are those 14,000 foot high mountains in Colorado. And you try to climb them in a single day hike. To do that, you've got to get up and over the peak up and back from the peak before noon, because lightning strikes at around 1 p.m. You don't want to be on the top of the mountain at 1 p.m. So you start generally around 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. at the latest at the trailhead in complete darkness. So this one particular mountain, my brother usually comes with me, but this particular day he'd done this hill. I said, I'm not doing that again. He said, that wasn't a good sign. But he said, I'm not doing it again. But he says, it's a nice climb. It's just hard. He said, but you got to get up there at 4 a.m. And now, look, when you go up this road, just be careful. Go past the first gate, go past the second gate, and stop. Turn around. There's a place there you can turn around. Turn the car down, facing downhill, so when you come back, you can come straight down. Now, normally, when you go to these trailheads, the roads are really rough. You really need four-wheel drive. So when he was saying you don't go past the second gate, I was expecting really bad roads. But when I got there, it was a beautiful straight road, flat and straight. It was steep, but flat and straight, and I was surprised. So we're just going straight up, past the first gate, past the second gate, and I see the turnaround, and I'm hesitating, and I decided, okay, I'll take his advice. So I turned around, did a turn, and then walked up this third gate and the fourth gate, and it was a perfectly flat, not flat, but smooth and straight road. So anyway, the hike went, and then I thought no more about it until we returned. We did the hike. It was a safe hike. Come back down, and only realized in the light of day why he told us. It was a 1,000-foot cliff on this side and a 1,000-foot cliff on this side. The road was a ledge. And what happened was that when you had the lights of the car were going up, all you saw was the beautiful road in front of you. You never saw the cliff edge here or the cliff edge here. And you never saw it in your cars. So on the way down, it took me forever to drive down, because I was terrified of driving over you're looking at 1,000 feet. There's no negotiation here. There's no guardrails. And it wasn't like it was a wide road. There was no room for a second car. So if you met another car, somebody had to back up one direction or the other. So this was like, am I going to meet a car? I hope not, because I'm not driving back up that hill in reverse gear. So it was terrifying. So why do I bring that up? It's that the light, right, was shining only on the road in front of me. Everything else was shrouded in darkness. I didn't see it, so I didn't know anything to be in danger of. So what do I say? So the darkness was my friend. Because what you don't see, you're not afraid of. What you don't see can't hurt you, right? And so I had this light, and the light of my car was just right, enough to see the road in front of me and drive it, and that's what we did. So what I'm saying is that sometimes the darkness in our lives can be, in fact, our friend. Because it allows us to focus only on what we need to focus on. Today, we have this classic reading of the man born blind. In his blindness, here's the irony. This is John's Gospel, classic John's Gospel, double meaning and irony. Here's the man who was born blind, who cannot see, and yet he sees Jesus for who he really is and calls him the Son of God. The Pharisees and the scribes can see, but they do not see Jesus for who he really is. Right? So their sight, they were blinded. In his darkness, he could see. So sometimes in our lives, like this man born blind, his attention was clearly focused on who God really was in his life, because he had so much darkness that it was only focused on just this one part of his life. I think, applying that to our own lives, Sometimes we think that when bad things happen to us, that it's all going to be negative. And I get that. When suffering comes our way, it doesn't feel good. But it certainly focuses our attention. Like if you play it just on a physical, like when I hurt my knee a year, like 2 years ago, right? I focused all my attention on getting well. Because I had to lose weight, I had to learn how to walk again with a different gait. It took me 8.5 months to learn to walk a new walk to correct my knee. I was focused completely on that. Because of that, I lost 25 pounds, and I had to do all this other work. So all of a sudden, this thing that was a burden for me became a benefit to me because of the darkness. Now, that requires of us belief. It requires of us to have faith in Jesus that there is going to be something through this darkness with which I will benefit from. It's not that I want the suffering or I want the pain. None of us do. But we've got to believe that when it comes our way, there will be something transformative that will come through our life. That's what the gospel is trying to tell. That's what Jesus assures us of. That's what the whole cross, the whole message of the cross is all about. That's why we sing this opening song about the cross, because it's the cross that focuses our attention and keeps us recognizing that whatever pain or suffering is in our life, it can, and if we allow it, God will produce some beauty. The light will shine in the darkness. But we have to allow it to happen. And that becomes our journey of Lent. It is to cooperate in some way with those struggles in our lives that come our way. And to allow them to transform us into somebody deeper, somebody more kinder, gentler, somebody who is less judgmental. If we can allow the suffering in our life to transform us, it will. But we have to do it with God's grace. It just doesn't just happen. We have to allow God's grace to work in our own life. Today we're going to have the second of the scrutinies. And the scrutinies, the word scrutiny is the same word as scavenger. What it means is we're going, the word we might use is a dumpster diver. We're going to dive deeper into the darkness in our lives. And so while we do this scrutiny with those who are coming in to the fullness of our faith, each one of us are doing it again for ourselves. To focus our attention on that which we need to focus. Think of it as the light that shines in that darkness of the early morning hike. That only the road I see ahead of me is all I need. I don't need anything else. The darkness allows me to focus on that. So today, as we hear these scrutinies, let us apply them also to ourselves and to allow the Lord to work in our own lives, to gently transform us into that better version of ourselves. So we can become not just believers in Jesus Christ, but followers of Christ in the path of the light of Christ. Today we come and we say that I was blind, but now I see. That is the same prayer for all of us.